joining 15 Minutes with Judy. I've been looking forward to having you as a guest.
Yeah, it's been so great getting to know your organization and getting to know Lynn and everybody. It's been such a pleasure. Really impressed with what we've seen so far and excited to spend a few minutes with you.
That's awesome. Yeah, you've become known as Chris at SupportLogic. You're almost like Prince or Madonna. You have one name, and when people say Chris, everybody knows who we're talking about. You have been truly a wonderful customer, making us better every day with your feedback and input, but your enthusiasm has been infectious, and I really appreciate that about you.
Well, I think that goes both ways. We've been super excited about SupportLogic, and we really see you as helping us transform our customer experience. And so I'm a CX guy, and just the way we've been able to use SupportLogic is really helping us transform how our customers engage with us and the ability to anticipate and provide more details as customers find hardship in their customer experience.
That's awesome. So I always start with an icebreaker, and let's see, I'm going to go with this one because it's an easy one. We're approaching Labor Day. Tell me the best thing that's happened to you this summer.
I'll try not to take too long, but my family's taken the same summer vacation for 49 years. And we go up to this lake. It's up near Canada by the Washington-Canada border up near Spokane, and we basically book out 80% of the cabins, and we just have this lake trip. There's like 6 or 7 boats, and we're just on the lake, and we're out of cell phone coverage, so there's no distractions, and you just kind of unplug and chill with the family. So I come from a big family, and I got lots of kids, and so we just kind of spend time and water ski and swim and do that stuff. So that's always my summer highlights. We tease my kids that they get a choice of going to Disneyland or going to Twin Lakes. And 49 years running, they picked Twin Lakes.
That's awesome. That sounds wonderful. Safe travels, and I hope you have a beautiful weekend. So, Chris, let's jump in. Tell me about you and your background. We try to focus not only on the support industry, but the people that are in the industry and their time in the chair and what they've done in the industry. Would you be willing to share about your background, your experience in support?
You bet. So for about 20 years, I ran kind of BPO contact center. So I started out kind of in IT, running dialers, doing like political surveys, and gradually into like financial services. So I spent about 20 years in the kind of mid-sized BPO space. 9 years ago, I transitioned from running contact centers into supporting contact centers when I joined NICE and their acquisition of InContact. So I joined NICE as a technical account manager at TAM, kind of as that kind of account management role, and then progressed into leadership roles. And then I demonstrated some technical skills and some leadership skills and some communication skills. And that kind of led me to my current role, which is the Director of Continuous Improvement, which means I'm a fixer within NICE. And so I get to do kind of an ITSM role, kind of helping our customer-facing teams understanding our technology, how it works, how to talk about it, and support our customers in their conversation. So I create content, have a training team, and a small operations team.
That's awesome. So you're constantly looking for areas of improvement and finding, what might be challenges in the customer experience or even the employee experience, I imagine.
Yeah, so I look closely at NPS data and I get involved in strategic projects. And thankfully, I don't own every project because then I would become a bottleneck. But my boss, Paul, kind of authorizes me to jump in to big problems, and I get to make things better.
I love that. So you've chosen, or you were chosen by support to live and breathe in this area. I think a lot of people in our industry think support is a place, come in, get your feet wet, right, and move to another line of business. I love talking to people who've chosen support as a career. What's been the most rewarding part of that for you?
I would say the people. Growing up with in call center industry, you get to know and love the people that you serve. And if you're a good leader, being able to kind of work with them and grow yourself is really, I think, part of having a successful career in this industry.
Yeah.
Is how do you improve yourself, and then how do you help those around you get better? And so, for me, that's always been the most fulfilling part.
That's great. Thank you. So you mentioned it early, and for people who follow along, we try not to make this a SupportLogic commercial, but you did mention SupportLogic and your time with our product. You have been, as I mentioned, one of the most enthusiastic customers, and to the point. Everybody knows Chris. If you say Chris, it's a given. It's you. How did that journey begin for you, and what brought you to SupportLogic?
That's actually pretty interesting because it kind of goes back to a discussion that you had with my leader, Paul Herdman, at a TSIA event. So we'd been in the process of reviewing some of our technologies that we use in our support organization, and kind of, are they being effective, and how are they helping us move the needle? And he kind of got talking to you and learning what SupportLogic did and how you differentiated yourself and how you were really moving the dials. And so Paul was like, we need to make room. We got rid of some stuff that we cleared some projects that weren't delivering and made room in the budget. And then I was kind of brought on as kind of that project manager, technical liaison, because tech support's busy. They've got a full-time job, and they've got customers and escalations. And so I kind of came on as a kind of consultant, and I was able to kind of meet with the support teams and help them gain a vision of how SupportLogic could help them be more effective. And so it was great engaging with Monica, our fabulous implementation manager. We've been on the platform about a year, and now we I think, reached stage 1 adoption, and we're super excited about stage 2 and generative AI and some of the new features that we're talking about in some of the office hours and roadmap sessions.
Yeah. Awesome. We appreciate that. It has been a journey, and of course, once you clear through the adoption challenges that might exist for any new software, right? How is this going to help me? How's this going to make my job easier, better? Then you can get to some of the exciting things that are out there as far as, what else can the product do for you and how else can we utilize it? So excited about that. So speaking of that, you're going to be speaking at our SX Live conference. What can we expect from you during that presentation?
Well, we're still kind of fine-tuning things, but I think I'm going to talk a little bit about generative AI and why using internet-trained AI, large language models, may not be providing customers and partners with the solutions that they're seeking. Potentially, I think SupportLogic is differentiating themselves because their language model is trained in support interactions. It's fluent, and that means that the signals that it identifies and even the generative AI that it's recommending is trained in our support cases. And so that's just incredibly powerful, and I think that's what I'm going to be talking about.
That's great, because one of the things, and I hear this almost every day of my life, including my weekends, there's so much hype and so much buzz around AI. And people, first off, don't know where to start. I think that's a given. And there's so much coming at them that, promise to change their lives. And I find now, I tell people when I work for an AI company, I'm like, not the new AI. The AI, that started 7-8 years ago and is proven, because I still believe, for support, especially, they have the opportunity to change how they're viewed, within their own company, how they're viewed in the industry, and certainly to become a differentiator, with how they're handling customers and using AI to do that, but not again, all the hype and the buzz, right? That only goes so far. And then, you have to prove the results. So I'm excited for that session. So I want to talk a little bit about you in the support industry. You mentioned earlier, the people are something that is a blessing to you, and you love the impact that you can have with people. You also mentioned that mentoring is near and dear to your heart. Tell me a little bit about your role as a mentor.
So, because I'm kind of what I call myself the fixer, I feel like my ability to fix things is limited to my personal time, right? I can work 40 hours, 60 hours, 80 hours. But if I can help lead change in an organization and create change agents, my ability to influence change becomes nearly infinite. And so I've always been just a super strong supporter of building up teams and helping people think about things differently, being data driven, and working with my team and my peers and others in the organization to understand what they're trying to accomplish and kind of consult a little and say, hey, let's talk about change. Let's talk about what you're trying to achieve and how can we do this better and what are your goals and how do you want to measure this, and helping them kind of become change agents to themselves. And I think, again, in the industry, this is key to our ongoing performance. You have these very passionate call center, contact center support leaders who can't fix every problem. And by kind of transforming your operations team and your leadership team and your managers and your supervisors into change agents, you don't have to. They will see the fruits of their labor and the success and the improvements as part of their job. And all of a sudden, change becomes something that you do, not something that is resisted.
So how do you motivate yourself to do that, Chris? Like, what is the thing that you do that gives you the oomph that you need every day to be a change agent?
I think it takes a mindset. You need to be comfortable in change. You need to be comfortable in challenging the status quo. You need to be data driven, because we're trying to change without data, without justification, without measurement isn't going to work. So you need to understand where the data is in your organization, how to use the data to tell a story, how to gain advocacy within your leadership to gain some buy-in. Hey, we want to try this. We think we can do this. We think we're going to achieve this, and then deliver. Then achieve and find great partners like SupportLogic and others who can help you be successful. And so I think that's the ideal scenario for me. That's the win.
What's the future of AI and support if you could envision that?
Well, back in the day when IBM Watson was kind of announced and everybody started getting excited about AI, I thought the person who kind of wired up an AI engine into a CRM would rule the world because they would anticipate customer needs as part of the journey. And I think we're seeing that today. And I think SupportLogic is a trailblazer in this area. I think we're starting to see this dynamic customer journey, that no journey is the same, but that we can start seeing patterns in the data and start surfacing those patterns as opportunities to improve the customer relationship. And it's going to be proactive, it's going to be rich, it's going to be, it's going to be better than we could do before, because we're taking out some of the hardship of crunching the data, and we're letting all of our support people be our best person. We always have had those top 10% of people who become our leaders, who become our managers, and we're trying to bring the tool set of the entire organization to meet those same standards. People in support are unique and they have this desire to serve. And if we empower them with tools and capability, we make their job less difficult in terms of automating logs and pulling things in and maybe guiding them in some interactions. We turn them loose to serve the customer and let their personalities really show.
That's awesome. And for those of you that don't know, our Support Experience Conference, our first in-person, we've done them virtual for the past 2 years. Our first in-person will be this year in October in San Jose. You can find more details on our website, of course. And we will be live and in person for 2 full days, October 7th and 8th. And Chris, you know this part well. You've gone through all of our certifications. We're adding 2 new SupportLogic Academy certifications at the event, so that'll be fun too. Chris, thank you so much for giving me your 15 minutes today. I really appreciate you.